Hello, my name is Marcus, and welcome to my channel. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie, is finally upon us, and I'm here to give you my thoughts in a full breakdown. Spoilers. I'm going to tell you now, we're going to hop right into the spoilers of this film. So if you have not seen the film yet, thank you for clicking, but get out of here, go watch the movie, and then come back. Movie starts out with our three heroes, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, having a friendly race with one another. This was definitely an extravagant showcase of their each individual powers. I love that they show that Tails and Knuckles also have a speed capability. You know, we know that Sonic is the fastest thing alive, but we also know that Tails is able to somewhat keep up with him with his mutated tails. And then Knuckles, even though he's known for his strength, he does have a capacity of speed as well. As the fun times are rolling with Team Sonic, we get a simultaneous scene with Shadow breaking out of his 50-year prison within the gun organization, and it was a brilliant showcase of what Shadow's powers are capable of. He was able to break through the glass with ease after he was awoken, and literally used his teleportation skill set to take down like 20 different gun soldiers with ease. Normal humans with guns are not supposed to be able to take on Shadow the Hedgehog, and that is masterfully crafted and replicated here with ease. Definitely props to the movie developers for showcasing this scene. It was brilliant. The trailers can only give us so much, but finally being able to see Shadow's fur come to life on the big screen almost brought a tear to my eye. It was so glorifyingly satisfactory to see one of my favorite characters replicated for the silver screen. It just made me happy. It just brought a sense of joy that I just cannot describe. Listen, I'm a Sonic fan to the core. It's going to be a little bit of a bias when it comes to this film. I love these characters. I really do. And just seeing some of these characters make their first appearance on the silver screen, like, it makes me happy. This could have been a crappy story, but I feel like they did such an excellent job of not giving us just a retelling of Sonic Adventure 2, but just taking core elements from the storyline of the game and crafting them into a 2-hour adventure that definitely covers the full basis of why Shadow and Gerald Robotnik was so hell-bent on revenge. This just wasn't something to be taken lightly. They both got taken away of the light of both of their lives. So in that sense, I understand their revenge plot. I definitely enjoy a villain that has something more to the soul, something more to the heart. No, he's just not evil for no reason. Well, maybe Joe Robotic, maybe he was a little evil to start, but after seeing his granddaughter murdered, you kind of get the basis of the understanding, like, okay, at least this makes a little bit of sense. You know, if somebody took away one of my loved ones, then, you know, there's no telling what I would do. There's no telling. We don't know what any of us, how we would react to a situation like that. So it is what it is. I absolutely loved Shadow and Maria's sibling relationship in this film. It was such a beautiful spectacle to witness. I think us as Sonic fans can finally put to bed any speculation that it was a romantic relationship between Shadow and Maria. We can put that to bed here. You know, if you watch this movie, you know, clearly it was almost like a pet to owner start to the relationship, and then it eventually became a brother to sister to best friend relationship. You know, they leaned on each other for support. They leaned on each other for companionship. To see Shadow witness Maria's death and see that light that he kind of had at the beginning, just seeing him be friendly, seeing him with a smile on his face, seeing him showcase a side that we had never seen before. I'm so happy that they did these numerous flashbacks to show us that Shadow had a human side. There's not just the emo, you know, I'm just an alien from outer space. I just have this dark personality for no reason. No, he got taken away the most important thing to him in the universe. They did such a good job explaining it. They really did. Subtle changes from game to movie. So in the game, Gerald Robotnik got DNA from Black Doom to create Shadow. In the movie, Shadow just arrived on an asteroid. In the game, Maria had a terminal illness which forced her to stay on the Ark, and Shadow was being used to find a cure for this illness, where in the movie she didn't seem to be sick at all. She was just staying with her grandfather because he just wanted her to stay with her. She was just Shadow's companion. It wasn't really any logical reason why she was on the Ark and not on Earth, but they still were the best of friends regardless of any of the more deeper story related content. It didn't really affect the story of the movie that much at all, but it's definitely something worth mentioning for the review. Shout out to Jim Carrey. He was once again outstanding, and the starlight role as Dr. Ivo Robotnik, and this time Gerald Robotnik as well. They even take a chance to break the fourth wall and showcase that they're clearly being played by the same actor. Awesome job on that. That brought a full chuckle across my theater room. I loved Jim Carrey being able to play or act against himself. A relationship with grandson to grandfather was so cool. I loved their little dance off to collect the key to get the Eclipse cannon going. That was a brilliant showcase. So good. I love their little flashback scenes of them doing Christmas together and going on bike rides in the park and whatnot. So cool, man. Props to the production crew for finally deciding to go on the decline of the human scenes in the Sonic movies. Jesus Christ. This movie was solely focused on the Sonic characters. We had a few Donut Lord scenes. We had a few gun scenes. I definitely enjoyed seeing Jessica Jones making her appearance in the Sonic franchise. She played a gun commander. She was my favorite human character outside of Jim Carrey, so that definitely put a smile on my face. I would absolutely love to see her make a return in Sonic 4, hint hint. Now that I'm thinking about it, I could definitely see the character Rouge the Bat interacting with Jessica's character and just being a brilliant counteract off of one another. I think that would be really cool. Let's make it happen, Paramount. Let's make it happen. Oh, one more thing about her. Don't think I'm just some Neanderthal. I'm fully aware her name is not Jessica Jones. It's Christian Ritter. I just prefer calling her Jessica Jones because that is how I met her. Plot of the movie: Team Sonic versus Team Shadow are in a race with one another to collect two keys that power the Eclipse cannon. This is the cannon from Sonic Adventure 2 that was created by Gerald Robotnik. It has the power to destroy a planet at a cataclysmic scale. So obviously it's very imperative if Shadow and Gerald Robotnik want to complete the revenge, they need the two keys. If Sonic wants to save the world, then they have to get the two keys. Throughout these missions, Donut Lord gets hurt. Oh man, just a gut-wrenching, it's almost like a counteract of history repeating itself with Shadow and Maria and Sonic and Donut Lord, and they have some brilliant interactions with each other because Sonic, I don't think I've ever seen Sonic be so angry with his friends or with his cohorts. He is at one point demanding, even threatening Knuckles to learn the location of the Master Emerald so that he could utilize the superpowers again to take down Shadow, because Shadow is just too strong. Up until this point in the movie, Shadow, like I suspected, was kicking their ass, as he should. In my opinion, Shadow is the strongest character in the Sonic universe. A lot of people might not want to admit that, but his status as the ultimate life form is absolutely true. He is a carbon copy of Sonic. In my opinion, he is Sonic's better. And so while we're on that subject, let's go ahead and start wrapping up our story tidbits. Once Sonic and Shadow continue their battle, Sonic actually does claim the Master Emerald and utilizes the Chaos Emeralds to become Super Sonic, which he heads out to space because Robotnik, Gerald, and Shadow have started to power up the Eclipse cannon to destroy the world. And I do like the story element of Ivo realizing that Gerald and Shadow are kind of insane. He has no interest in destroying the world completely. He wants to rule it. And it was even showcased a part of this storyline in the game as well. Like, I don't want to destroy the world. I want it to coexist. I just want to rule it, which makes perfect sense. It's fine line between evil dictatorship and just insanity. Shadow and Gerald were so hell-bent on revenge that they had breached a point of no return in insanity. However, that is a subtle change worth mentioning from video game to movie. In the video game, Gerald Robotnik was eventually executed for his work on Shadow, where in the movie, he was released after 50 years of imprisonment because he gave Gunn the details and the designs to create the Eclipse cannon. Now, why Gunn needs that type of firepower, has the capability to destroy a planet, that's a conversation for another day, I guess. And also, it's definitely worth mentioning that Gerald Robotnik has lived to 110 years old in this movie series. I don't think I knew any human that lived that long, but again, movie logic, screw it, who cares? So with that definitely leads us into our action fight scenes. Oh my God, man. If you are a Dragon Ball fan and a Sonic fan, this is a dream come true for you. They clearly took inspiration from Akira Toriyama's anime Dragon Ball Z for the fight scenes between Sonic and Shadow for this movie. The motorcycle battle with Sonic on the Tokyo City was one thing. That was just a spectacular spectacle to witness. The trailer gives away a lot of it, unfortunately, but for the conclusion of that fight, it was still so cool to see on screen. Just a beautiful, spectacular rendering of CGI. Some of my favorite fight scenes ever from this franchise, and quite frankly, some of my favorite fight scenes from any movie in general. And then that takes us to the final fight scene between Supersonic and actually regular Shadow on the moon, which, surprisingly, Shadow is actually putting up a decent fight against Supersonic. Obviously, with the power of the Emeralds, it's kind of a one-sided battle, but Shadow was just so powerful. He was still able to put up a decent fight, but Sonic is eventually able to overpower him. But Shadow is somehow able to knock the Emerald's power out of Sonic when he drops his guard. It kind of reminded me of when Knuckles knocked the Emerald's power out of Sonic in the beginning cutscene of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. It was such a cool spectacle to see. And then in that clip or that screenshot that has been going around for ages, we see Sonic and Shadow going after the Emeralds together, and they're able to touch the Emeralds at the same time and both get the superpowers of the Emeralds, and which point we see one of the greatest animated movie battles of all time of Super Sonic and Super Shadow. It may as well would have been Super Saiyan Goku versus Super Saiyan Vegeta. I tell you, the fight that it really reminded me of, the Majin Vegeta fight versus the Super Saiyan 2 Goku fight. Please, God, if you are watching this video, please tell me that you have some type of knowledge of Dragon Ball Z as well. That is one of the greatest anime fight scenes of all time. I highly recommend going to YouTube and just peeking that fight. That fight scene versus the Supersonic versus Super Shadow fight scene, I feel like was a 1-to-1 between the speed kicks and the speed punches versus just the teleportation and the disappearing and reappearing. It was everything I could have wanted. It really was. And then they come to a Climactic battle conclusion where Shadow starts talking shit to Sonic. And he's like, where's your friends? The whole time when we first met, you were talking about teamwork and how I needed to get over what happened to Maria. And then here you are trying to go after revenge for me for what I did to your, who was that guy's name? Tom. And then Sonic just loses his shit and goes full Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and punches Shadow through the atmosphere onto the surface of the moon. Easily one of the coolest punches. It was almost like a One Punch Man punch. I'm pretty sure that's what they got that from. I don't even watch One Punch Man, but I guarantee you that's where that came from. It was so freaking cool. Oh my God. I mean, punches him so hard that it actually knocks the superpower out of Shadow, and that decisively ends the battle. At this point, Shadow is like, it's over. Finish it. Finish me. I'm done. And then Sonic's actually about to do it when finally, at the last second, he realizes Donut Lord's mysterious words to him to always follow what's in his heart. Brilliant, Paramount. Brilliant story writing. I really, really appreciate that. Even though I'm not a fan of the human characters in these movies, just I do enjoy those little subtle words of wisdom that comes from those characters. And Sonic finally realizes the folly of his mistake and drops his superpower as well. And finally, Sonic and Shadow have a heart-to-heart and an understanding with one another that they need to come together to stop Gerald Robotnik from destroying the planet, and full realization that that is not what Maria would have wanted. She would have wanted Shadow to thrive on Earth, not succumb to revenge for, in this case, her accidental death. This is the point where the emotions were really starting to arise within myself. And the tip that tipped me over the breaking point was the theme that started to play right at this moment, the Live and Learn rendition of the main theme from Sonic Adventure 2, when Sonic and Shadow realized their mission and they utilized the Chaos Emeralds to reclaim their super forms, then flew off into space in a climactic final battle versus all of the egg robots in an attempt to stop the Eclipse cannon from firing to destroy the Earth. By this point, the tears were flowing. It was beautiful. It really was. It was a mastercraft to reclaiming the nostalgia in my heart, to just give me a pure joy, just a pure sense of just unadulterated, pure happiness. That's why we go to the movies. That's why we play these video games. That's why we interact with these characters. That's why these characters mean so much to us. I'm sure some of you are wondering, did you really, as a 36-year-old man, just admit to us that you cried over a Sonic movie? Yes, I'm 100% fully confident in saying that, because it is because of these characters that I'm even talking to you today. It is because of these characters that I even have a YouTube channel. It is because of these characters that my nostalgia runs so deep that I am successful in the level of content creation that I am successful at today. That, yes, sir, I am extremely passionate about this franchise and extremely passionate about these characters. And I am so grateful and so thankful that we have been able to get a truly successful franchise of a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I never dreamed it could happen. I'm still in awe on some days, and I'm just so grateful that these characters from my childhood are still just as prevalent 30 years later as they were when I was a 4-year-old boy. It's insane to me. It really is. And now for the conclusion of our story, just a double whammy to the heart. I had a feeling that this was going to be Jim Carrey's last appearance for Dr. Eggman, as he technically announced after Sonic 2 that he was finished playing the role, but they were able to convince him to come back for, it looks like, one more portrayal for Dr. Robotnik. I'm so happy with his performance with this movie. They pretty much set it in stone. I don't think there is any way that he's coming back from his demise in Sonic 3. He utilized his prowess to defeat Gerald Robotnik, and then he utilized the last of his genius to direct the Eclipse cannon firing power away from the Earth with Super Shadow's help. It was just a brilliant display of teamwork and realization of the folly of their ways, that destroying the world was not the answer. And Dr. Robotnik ending up meeting his demise by the end of this effort. You know, it was really beautiful and kind of funny to witness. I've never seen Jim Carrey die in a movie before, but of course, in Jim Carrey fashion, he kind of made it funny. It was still kind of sad at the same time, but still kind of funny. He did a robot dance as he was dying. So, you know, kind of takes it away from the feeling a little bit, but still just cool to see, man. It really was. I was just happy with the result of it. And then, of course, Shadow basically sacrificed himself to take the brunt of the blast to keep it away from the Earth as well. Or did he? But at that point, that essentially ends our core story of the movie, as Sonic is skyrocketing to Earth after his attempted sacrifice to save the Earth as well. Tails and Knuckles are able to save him from oblivion with the power of a ring, which they are learned of their safety. Sonic quickly apologizes to them both for running off and trying to, fight Shadow by himself with utilizing the power of the Emerald after they promised to never use the powers of the Emeralds for revenge. So for a movie technically aimed at kids, sure, I guess I can be a kid. Lesson to not fight for revenge and to simply fight for what's right is definitely showcased here for sure. So this is overall just a brilliant movie. I loved it so much, but as we all know and have heard, that is far from the end. We have two major end cutscenes that is going to lead us into Sonic 4. This is where we get into major spoiler territory, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I'd advise you to leave right now. First character reveal for Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Metal effing Sonic. Caught it. When I made that video, this was my personal choice to appear in Sonic the Hedgehog 4. I am so happy that he is making an appearance. And it seems, if I had to take an educated guess, it seems like he's going to take Eggman's place as like the main villain. It looks like it's an army of Metal Sonics that Sonic was fighting against in this after credit scene. So I can't wait to see, how this is going to be utilized for the story. It looks like it's going to be like maybe like a Neo Metal Sonic, like a king, and then he's going to have an army of Metal Sonics to take on our heroes. I also love the fact that they did not change Metal Sonic's design from game to movie at all. I mean, he looks exactly how he appears in the video game. That fact alone made me super happy as well. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. Perfect. But of course, they didn't end up there. They also had to reveal Amy Rose. Also, caught it. You cannot do the Metal Sonic storyline without including Amy as well. She is way too essential to that storyline. They both made their appearance in Sonic CD together. I also love the fact that it doesn't seem like Amy is going to be any kind of a damsel in distress. As soon as she made her appearance, it almost like she utilized her Pico Pico hammer, almost like kind of like a Thor, like she threw it, took out like 5 of the Metal Sonics, and it ended up coming back to her. And she just caught it and just revealed herself from under that cool freaking cape. Oh, just complete bad assery. It almost reminded me, like I said, of the Princess Peach from the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, they're taking these female characters that are usually the damsels in distress, and they're making them partners to the central male character, and that is making me very happy. We don't need to see a ditzy, female character in distress that just needs saving all the time. I want to see a suitable, female warrior that's just badass and fights alongside the male counterpart. It just makes the blood boil. It just gets the grit going. It just makes me freaking excited. I'm so hyped. I'm so excited for the future of this franchise. The first 3 Sonic movies were great. Now we are sure that a 4th one is coming. It has already started production, and it is coming within the next couple of years. Yes. I'm so happy, man. This movie, the end of the year, this Christmas time, this was my Christmas present. This movie just brought such a sense of joy and nostalgia and happiness. Am I willing to call this a masterpiece? 100%. This movie just gave me a genuine sense of joy. I keep reiterating that throughout this entire breakdown review. This movie just makes me happy, period. That is why you go to the movies. That is why you grab your popcorn and your drink, you sit down. That is why you pay your money, to be happy, period. And with that, I gotta stop it right here, man. We're almost 25 minutes in. If you are still with me, oh my God, thank you. I love you. Clearly, I can talk about this motherfudger all day. I had so much fun doing this review for you guys. I had so much fun watching this movie. If you stuck with me all the way through, you are a true fan of Martin Jack 79. You are a true fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, man. I commend you Thank you. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button. And also, if you would consider hitting that share button as well, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more content like this, or if you are a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, you are exactly in the right place. You can follow me at youtube.com/marjack79. I am also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, brothers and sisters, Sonic fans are eating good right now. Let's continue the passion. Let's continue the thunder. Let's continue the fire. I will see y'all on the next one, and I will catch y'all later. Bye.